It's with Dave Bontempo back at the Foxwoods Casino here in Ledyard, Connecticut on this election night. We come now to our main event. Jimmy Lee Smith, who prefers James Lee Smith, against Carl the Truth Williams. As we said earlier, each man with something to prove.
Seems like Carl Williams has been around forever. His 11-year career has included some bursts of power. Remember this deluge against Rodney Frazier 4 years ago? Or how about this 1992 shellacking of Marshall Tillman? Williams indeed starts quickly, but doesn't always finish the job. He ushered Jerry Jones to a seat early in their March fight, but found that the canvas works both ways. This disappointing loss to a so-called journeyman nearly drove Williams from the game. He stayed in, looking for one last shot at a world title. He went back to work against Ozzy Ocasio. This fight was not pretty, but Williams got a win. And as he comes up on 33, he'll take it. So who is Jimmy Lee Smith? He was considered a stepping stone for big-name fighters until surprising Mark Carrier. Smith dismantled an unbeaten fighter and won it going away. Suddenly, he's alive and looking for 2 in a row.
So let's talk then, Dave, about the keys to victory. What's it going to take?
All right, Smith has to get under the Williams jab, get on angles, and get his in first so that he can set up the body shots. They're critical to him. It led him to victory against Carrier. Williams established the jab. It's been his signature. Utilized the experience. He's been in more big fights than Smith. He's got to make that show tonight.
Neither man can take the other lightly. Let's meet him now with Michael Buffer. Mike?
Ladies and gentlemen, Top Rank Incorporated, in association with the undisputed, undefeated King of Beer, Budweiser, present the featured bout of the evening. This bout is sanctioned by the Connecticut State Department of Consumer Protection. Commissioner Gloria Schaefer, Deputy in charge at ringside, Mr. John Burns. Physicians in attendance, Dr. James O'Brien, Dr. Michael Schwartz, and Dr. Walter Ialachi. The 3 judges scoring this bout on a 10-point must system are Steve Epstein, Lou Bogosh, and Bobby Muravnik. And the timekeeper for this contest is Mr. Lou Dell. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Foxwoods High Stakes Bingo and Casino here in Mashantucket, Connecticut, let's get ready to rumble! 10 rounds of boxing. This is in the heavyweight division. The referee for this contest is Harold Gomes. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the purple with white trim, weighing 227 pounds, from Minneapolis, Minnesota. His professional record, 10 victories with 6 KOs, only 2 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, James Finesse Smith! And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with red trim, weighing an even 225 pounds. Fighting out of Brigantine, New Jersey. His professional record, 26 victories with 19 KOs against 5 defeats. Introducing Carl the Truth Williams.
Carl, Jim, you had your instructions earlier. I want a clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Good luck.
So here's a look at James Smith. As we said, he prefers that. And I got to say, he is stone cold right here. And that could really have an effect because Carl the Truth Williams likes to get out quickly.
And he's a fast starter anyway.
And I'm sure Carl Williams will have noticed that.
He'll go right for it. Many fights Carl Williams has started fast in. Even going back to Mike Weaver, which he ended up losing, but he was putting Weaver in all kinds of trouble before he caught trouble in the second round himself and lost.
And Smith, who calls himself Finesse, would like to show some finesse and needs to if he's going to get himself into this fight.
He'll have to be a pretty accurate sharpshooter, too, because Smith will be punching up as he did there and got it in.
Smith's career was made with a win over Mark Carrier, who was being brought along as a potential contender. I guess before you're a contender, you're a potential contender, huh?
You have to get on the borderline first. Yeah, people can generalize on one fight. You know, they often do. The loss to Witherspoon really made that tag for James Lee Smith. A one-round knockout loss, looked awfully bad doing it. And that's what the thinking was when he fought Carrier. Well, here's another stepping stone for Carrier, and it didn't work that way. He started slowly against Carrier and then came on. You can't say Smith is trying to bring the crowd into it so far. He's darting away and making them edgy. Williams is following, trying to get the jab, but doesn't want to lunge.
Slap with the left hand from Smith.
There's an opening for Williams. He could throw a lazy jab and then come right behind it with a sharp hook, because really Smith is reacting to every jab that Williams is throwing, and they've all been coming up short. He might want to use it as a fake and try to set up the hook.
The jab, a very good weapon for Carl the Truth Williams. If fights were scored on style points, Carl Williams would win a lot.
They seem to look perfect when his shots are going off. Nice balance, good style. But he just has to keep up on the attack more than he does.
He's been fighting fairly regularly, sort of tap dancing, he says, until he gets a shot and feels that day will come. So Smith gets through the first round and at least has broken a sweat, and that should help him. We'll be back. Start the second round. James Smith in the tiger stripes, the purple tiger stripe trunks. And you can see the first round, not much from either side.
That's pretty low scoring, especially you're supposed to have all your adrenaline coming out. For Carl Williams, not as fast a start as he would like, but he wins the round.
Shouldn't be too surprising that James Lee Smith had come out without breaking a sweat. He works in a cold storage plant.
In all of his fights, he's had the same demeanor, too. He doesn't get too far ahead of himself, never gets down on himself. At some point, you wait for him to seize the initiative and think of himself as a contender.
He looks in pretty good shape, I have to say that.
He's been well preserved. Heads come together there.
Looks like he's just looking to counter, come over the top of the jab.
And Carl Williams doesn't want to make a mistake, so he's been a little bit gun shy. Gotta let the hands go, even if the punches are not landing. Land them on the elbows, the shoulders, anywhere. Just cause a reaction.
Good work underneath by Williams.
Smith wants this fight on the inside, and Williams really wants to keep him away from there. Unless he wants to lure him into an uppercut. Otherwise, he's got to stay outside.
Got a shot at it there, as you can see Smith duck in. Smith is fighting this fight like a guy who has a plan, and so far, the other half of the fight is not cooperating.
Well, and it's an interesting point, because Williams doesn't make the same amount of mistakes that Carrier would, you'd expect. But here's Smith going on the inside, waiting long enough, and he got to Carl Williams there.
Yeah, he did. Carl shook his head to his corner, saying, "I'm not hurt, don't worry about it."
But he shouldn't have even been in that position.
I think we had a headbutt in there, and I don't know if there's a cut, but there was a clash of heads.
And referee indicating that he might take a point away, or it's at least a warning.
No cut, so that's the good news. I think Carl Williams himself thought he was cut. That may be what Smith has been looking for, that looping overhand right. Not too effective. End of the second round. We'll be back.
Well, we've got some leather and lace here from Smith coming in. There's the leather, and then he smears it, the lace there, and the headbutts came in, and a lot of ugliness inside.
Either man marked, though. That's the end result. Williams starts out this third round like he tends to pick the pace up a little bit. Numbers in the second round. Smith did a little bit more in the second round.
Considering how slowly he has started in fights, that's bad for Williams to let that round get away. He should be dominating the early part of the fight.
Slapping right hand from Smith.
Williams should be peppering that jab. That's his one intangible asset in this fight. And so many fighters in this game have no good jab at all. That's been Williams' bread and butter. He should use it. You let Smith get in here. I mean, even though Williams has done well with these last couple shots, Smith is awkward. He can create problems. He can cut you. He can butt you. And he likes it in there.
Doesn't seem to do much out there when he's in there. Round apiece. And now Williams opens up on Smith and has Smith covering up. That uppercut.
The uppercut is there for him.
I think Smith is still feeling that.
And look at Smith. The angle of him, if you get a close-up shot, his legs are wide apart. He cannot get any balance, and he cannot plant on his shots at all. There is somebody very vulnerable to an uppercut and somebody who cannot get a good offense off.
His punches are really looping punches. And you're right, just look at his legs.
You've got to tighten up in there.
Body shot by Williams, left hook. Right hand to the top of the head, and down goes Smith. And he crumples down.
It's not Mark Carrier.
No. Smith is up, but is still in some trouble. And we'll see if Smith tries to get him out of here. I think he will. He will try, that is.
Williams trying to do it with that uppercut because it's there for him. It's Smith, a leaning target here.
Right hand on the top of the head again. Smith trying to hold.
Well, he wants to be out of here.
And I think we stopped the fight. I think the fight's been stopped. I'm pretty sure that referee Harold Gomes stopped the fight before the bell.
And it looked like balance and the lack of stamina really combined with Smith's worst enemies because Williams was not getting him with flush shots. He was on bad angles. Looked like he keeled over on his own momentum with a little help from Williams. A little surprising that Smith would go out this way considering what was available to him in this fight.
And a reminder that coming up we're going to have some of the best whackouts of Marvelous Marvin Hagler. A couple of fights I had a chance to do back in the old days with Mustafa Hamsho.
Classic.
And possibly Hagler's great fight with Thomas Hearns.
Williams on the inside here. Watch the uppercut as he comes in. First the shoulder does it. Then he comes around the chopping right on the temple, and that's the one that did Smith in just about there. He's ready to go down and doesn't, but now Carl Williams comes in there. First knockdown, the left hand. He's winding up for the uppercut. Again, the shoulder, and then the chopping right hand. That was in a strategic spot for Williams, and the uppercut as a little coup de grace, which was not needed because Smith was doing a nice Hollywood act there. Williams keeps on the attack. Look at the open mouth of Smith. He's totally out of gas, and anything will push him over. A body shot. These are not knockout shots. These really are not. Over the top of the head, that's a bad spot. But again, the uppercut from Williams. Smith was his own worst enemy, not getting out of the way, and looked like he didn't really want to fight.
And sure enough, here's Michael Buffer to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Harold Gomes stops the bout at 2 minutes and 59 seconds of the third round. The winner by TKO victory from Brigantine, New Jersey, Carl "The Truth" Williams.
So Carl the Truth Williams wins, and even he kind of shrugs his shoulders and says, hey, I did what I had to do. He did. It's another W, and the tap dance continues for Carl Williams. Where were you on a...